We signed 2 offensive linemen, Satawa Lamea from Utah, and then William Sherman. So those are 2 offensive linemen we were able to sign on the practice squad there. And other than that, medically, Tolly was a DMP with the back, Dylan was a DMP with the toe, Chase was a DMP with the calf, Trevor was limited with the toe, and then Trey Palmer was limited with the hamstring. So that's our injury report. And any questions?
The back is obviously a new ailment for Tolly. Is that something he had been dealing with prior to the game, during the game?
Yeah, it's just something that came up. Yeah, it's just something to try and get ahead of. And so there's just some maintenance stuff for Tolly as we go through this process. And so, he's doing everything he can, and just like last week.
Is there a better chance you think you get Chase Young back this week?
We'll see how it goes. Didn't practice today, but we'll see how the next couple days go. And so, usually Thursday, Fridays give us more clarity than Wednesdays. Sorry, who?
Dylan.
Taylor.
Well, I was still dealing with the knee as well. Is that something he's going to have to do?
Yeah, he's got a little combination. Yeah, so he's just got some maintenance stuff. But the back's really the thing that we were focused on today. So.
And what's the extent of Dylan's toe?
Yeah, he just had a toe injury come up during the game, and so we'll just kind of see how it goes. Again, no practice today, and we'll see how the next couple days progress for those guys.
But it's not like, obviously this is turf toe. It's nothing.
Yeah, it's not to. Yeah, we're not. He's not going to IR or anything, but we'll just have to see how this thing progresses.
Chase, is this an injury that is lingering a little longer than maybe was initially anticipated? Was there a setback?
No setback. Yeah.
With Carl Granderson, he's got off to strong start to the season before. Obviously, that's 3.5 now. But what's kind of the key for him to maintain this level of production? Are you noticing anything different from him?
Yeah, it's a great question. Obviously, only my exposure so far this year, and obviously, I can't say enough good things about what Grando's been doing for us. His play style is everything you want to preach to a team. His example shows up week in and week out, every practice, every game, and it shows up with the production. His ability to have impact plays in the run game, and then also in the pass game. Obviously, he's been able to generate some sacks, and so he's doing a lot of good things, and he's taking advantage of the opportunities presented.
What does he do well as a pass rusher?
I think just relentless effort. Obviously, he's got really good burst. But I think his effort and finish is really special.
Let's look back at the first 2 games. I think I asked this Sunday, but it's right after the game. Do you find positives in how close you've been, or does that wind up making it more frustrating for you? When you look at what you've done in the first 2 games, so how do you grade the fact that you were right there twice?
Yeah, I think just big picture wise. The way our guys battle and compete and play each and every down, we have a lot to get better at. We got a lot to close the margins to give ourselves the opportunities to win these games. We're right there. We just aren't doing enough what winning teams are doing, but can never take for granted the way our guys are competing and playing to go, fall into a 2-score deficit late in the game and to rally back and still have opportunities really both games. And so our guys are doing the right things. We just got to clean up the execution, the operation. For myself, I'm always trying to find ways, how can I improve this, how we call the game, and so we'll just keep getting better.
Possible that Penning plays this week, or do you think he needs a little bit of a ramp up?
We'll just see. Yeah, I think for anybody coming off of something, you're going to kind of have some exposure. We have to see how everything responds, and then we'll see how it goes.
Do you guys create the space you want, on inside zone runs, in the 20, from guard to guard? You get the space you want on those runs?
We're always emphasizing the double teams and the opportunities to get to the second level, and so I think it's certainly a work in progress. We're close. We haven't hit the explosives yet. From an inside zone perspective, we're able to get to the second level and then get to the safeties. But there's progress being made there, and we just got to get better.
What is your thoughts? Sam Darnold was one of the great stories last year. Just maybe throughout his career, I know maybe you scouted him coming out, just kind of what happened in New York and then where he is now.
Yeah, I think Sam's just a great example of the development of quarterbacks in our league, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time and being in the right situation and right environment. I thought what he did last year at Minnesota was really special. He carried a team and put them in an awesome position to make a playoff run and have tons of success up there. And so, I feel like he's in a great situation. I thought he played some really good football last week against Pittsburgh. He's a really good quarterback in this league. He's earned it, and so it'll be a challenge for us.
Off against Clint Kubiak, how much does it help to have in-house film of what he did with this offense last year?
Again, it's the NFL. There's overlap all over the place in our profession, and so I have a ton of respect for Clint. I've always loved what he's done every stop he's been, and so they're really creative on offense. They're really physical in the run game. They create play action opportunities. They get completions. They're doing a really good job.
Stress does that wide zone system put on a defense?
Yeah, it's just discipline, and you got to be assignment sound, and one guy in the wrong gap creates an explosive, big time, game changing run, and so and then all the movement that comes off it, all the play action stuff, and so he does a really good. Clint always has done a really good job of just tying everything together and really stressing it every single down.
The focus around that about trying to beat them to the point of attack, or is it more about forcing them to do something that they're uncomfortable with? Like, how do you go about approaching it?
Yeah, there's obviously a multitude of things that they can do, and I think what's really good about their system is they kind of have the counter moves built into it. I think, obviously the run game is a huge part of this thing, no question about it. You got to do a really good job and play really well on first and second down to earn the right to play those third downs, and then we got to finish in those third down situations, and so that'll be the formula for this one.
Did Trevor staying engaged with what y'all were doing while he was covering? And I mean, obviously they're making a big position switch and everything.
Yeah, he's done an excellent job. He's done everything he can through a recovery process. He's been in meetings, and he's done a lot of good work over the course of the last few weeks.
What stands out about Seahawks defense, just when they present the problems?
Yeah, I have a ton of respect for Mike. Going all the way back to Baltimore, we played him a couple times when he was there, and so they're really, really sound. They're really sound. They're all tied together. They don't give you don't see a bunch of freebies in games. You don't see blown coverages, miss run fits, and turn into explosives. You're going to earn everything. And he has a really good ability and balance of playing the patience game and then finding those really opportune times to pressure you. And so, it's a really talented group. When you look at really this whole entire group is the same as what they had last year, and then they added some really good pieces like a DeMarcus Lawrence and some of those guys, and so it's a really talented group.
In terms of their pass defense, why would you say they are second in the league in interceptions right now with 4?
They're playing really good. They're creating pass first opportunities. They're creating situations where they're in pass rush mode, play with vision on the ball, and really pounce on opportunities in that situation. And so, when you look at last game, they had a really big time one in the red zone, a tip interception. That was a critical play in that game. And so, they've had really opportune turnover opportunities, and they've taken advantage of them.
It looks like they get a lot of pressure without actually blitzing a lot. Do they muddy up that picture in the front as well as anybody?
They do a really good job. I think maybe a little bit of San Francisco in the sense of, they create just one-on-one opportunities and they create edges. I think they rush really well together. This is arguably one of the best teams as far as a rush group, as far as working together. You can tell, there's a lot of times where someone's really given a big-time assist. He's doing something to create a one-on-one opportunity or create a path for someone else to get the sack, and that's the thing that jumps out. They're really well coached with Mike. AD, the defense coordinator, was in Dallas with me. They're really well coached, and so they do a really good job in those situations.
Do they use Joanne Love is it kind of like Kyle Hamilton-ish? Like, is that chess piece?
Yeah. They certainly have some chess pieces on the back end. I think their back end, obviously there's some investment there, but there's just really talented players who have some ability to play, safety to nickel, nickel to outside corner in a few situations, and so they can move these pieces around a little bit.
Do you remember your thoughts on Smith and Jigba coming out? You guys took a receiver one pick later after it.
Yeah, he's really good. He's a really good player. I think the world of him. He played a ton of slot at Ohio State, but I think what's really proven is all those guys who maybe played one position at Ohio State, they've become really premier players in this league. Chris is another good example for us, and so he's just done a really good job. And then you add Cooper Kupp in there, and now that receiver room just has some really high football IQ, and they can do a number of things. They can put him in a lot of different positions.
When Trevor is healthy enough to play, does he immediately slot in as a starter, or do you consider the continuity there?
Yeah, we anticipate him going when healthy. He's ready to go. I thought he did a phenomenal job all off season, and we'll see how everything progresses though.
What are the benefits of being in shotgun so much, and why do you like that formation?
Yeah, there's just quarterback wise, you can play in the shotgun. Obviously from a pass game perspective, you can see it a little bit cleaner. We have the run game tied together with it. I think one thing that I think the last couple stops I've been trying to be more conscious of having the ability to run the football in the gun and not be so, one-dimensional in that situation. But I thought our guys have done a good job, and we can still get in the pistol, we can still get under center in situations, and we'll see how it all goes.
What do you like about Juwan being able to not just take snaps in line, but also even has worked out the backfield a little bit? Just
stood out to you about
Yeah, he's got position flex, and we like the opportunity when we have to move these guys around a little bit. And so Jawan's done some good pieces. He lined up in the backfield a couple times last week. We'll see how this game plan progresses. And so yeah.
Do you know Mike? You mentioned him, like respect for him. I guess parallels, like he came in as the youngest coach in the NFL, replacing kind of after Russ and after Pete, kind of a long run there. Yours is kind of similar coming in here to a new. Do you know him at all? Did you talk to him about that, maybe at the owners' meetings or anything?
Yeah, certainly we've crossed paths really in competitive situations for the most part, competing against him, whether he was at Baltimore or now in Seattle. And so, obviously we've crossed paths at owners' meetings and whatnot. A ton of respect for him. I thought, what he's done and building that program, you can see how they've progressed last year and certainly going into this year. And so he's just doing an awesome job. He's building a really special program up there. They're doing really, really good things.
You have someone that's kind of like the game management specialist, like it used to be Rizzy. Like, is there someone now that does that on your staff?
Yeah, it's a combination. Scott Lenahan's the main voice for me. He's upstairs, and so obviously I've worked with Scott for a number of years, and he's kind of seen it all, and so he's kind of that steady voice in the box, and we have a couple other people up there that are able to help with some of the decision-making factors.
You find out if Vernon needs surgery?
No, I don't have that answer yet, but I know, IR.
After you guys brought in Julian Blackman, one of the first things you said was how well his ability to play deep complemented, Justin being able to bring him closer to the line of scrimmage. Do you feel like Jonas's skill set right now is able to complement Justin in a similar way?
Yeah, I think both those guys can really play in both areas of the field. I thought, looking back at the film again, Jonas, I thought just did a really good job. He did a really good job. He had some impact plays as far as making some tackles. He put himself in some good position in the pass game. There's things that he's going to get to clean up as this goes. That's what happens when it's the second game of your NFL career. And we feel like we got a great tandem back. Those guys are going to do awesome for a long time for us.
I know you were asked about it Monday. I apologize if you. I know you played there or coached there professionally, but you grew up like 3 hours away. Did you ever go to a game there? As a fan, with family, friends, anything like that?
Yeah, I've been there. I think 1 year we played a high school game there, and been to a couple games over the years there. And so, it's a cool place. It's a great atmosphere. I think our guys are excited about the opportunity to have your first road game in one of the best atmospheres in the NFL. And so it'll be a fun challenge for us. Yeah.
Played a high school game?
I did.
You did, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Were you just a fan? And January 2011, obviously, for a lot of us.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. We had already played our bowl game in college, and so went to it.
You mentioned before about how Seattle does a really good job of forcing turnovers. Spencer hasn't really. I know the fumble is what it is, but is that a big improvement for him this year of just avoiding turnovers in general? Is that kind of one of the bigger growth areas you've seen from him?
I think it's something that's shown through the whole offseason program. We kind of talked about it as we navigated this quarterback decision. I thought he was just really consistent through the whole offseason program. And so, there's going to come a time he's going to throw an interception. That's just what the numbers are in the NFL. Eventually it happens. But what he's done is he's just done a great job of putting us in really good position to be successful. He's good making really good decisions. He's using his feet when he does have those opportune times. And so, there's a lot of positives there.
You mentioned during the quarterback competition that a big part of it would be about running the operation.
Yeah.
And so since he's kind of won that job to now, just why has he been so good at doing that for you?
Yeah, I think he's been very consistent, and he's making really good decisions. I think he communicates really well. I think our guys have been on the same page. We had a little bit, first game tempo, playing a little bit overly fast, really, is what most of it was. Other than that, I think our guys have communicated at a really high level.Ey're on the same page. They understand the assignments, and Spencer leads the way with that.
When a team targets a guy like Yachty, for instance, it seemed like San Francisco going after him a few times. Is there anything you guys can do as a defense to avoid those matchups besides just not play him?
Yeah, there's a lot of different things you can do. And obviously, Ike's done a lot of good things for us. He'll continue to get better, just like all of us. It's the third week of an NFL season. I mean, we got plenty of football coming, and we got a lot of urgency to get better now. But schematically, we're continuing to evolve, add more pieces to our system and our arsenal, and different things that we can utilize. And so that's all part of the NFL journey of each week's a different task, and you got to solve some things that come up in your game and what the opponent's going to present, and that's the fun challenge for all of us.
Yeah, how different would you say your system is on either side of the football from week 1 to going here into week 3, and like how do you kind of manage the let's hold that back and wait, how do you kind of manage all that?
That's a good question. I think it's just volume management. I think you're always evolving each week, but there's only so much time in the week, and so you got to be conscious of that to allow these guys to play fast and confident and free. Each week's going to present different challenges. The first month of the season, everyone's got new. Everything's kind of new for the first. It always seems like the first 4 weeks. There's a lot of moving pieces, and then teams start settling in as the season goes on, and you start kind of. Guys have clear identities and approaches, and then you kind of start, playing the chess game a little bit from there. But there'll be plenty. Seattle's going to run a blitz, a new flavor. They're going to, Clint's going to dial up a couple play action shots, and he'll have some good flavors. And that's just what September football is about.
Bailey, obviously just the one catch, but it was a touchdown. Does having a body like that in the red zone just make calling that part of the field a lot easier, just with the options you have available?
Really good contested catch by him. Using his body, using his size. Certainly there's value to that when you get down there. Jawan was on the same play. He kind of had a little red zone fade, and so certainly size will be beneficial down there.
It's like kind of the plan in the past for, I know he's not on the team right now, but Deckers, it seems like he's run off and on. What's the idea with developing him?
Yeah, we like Hunter, and so we're trying to develop him as best we can. Obviously, a lot of that's associated with the future, just with where our quarterback room is at. A fourth quarterback can be tricky on the roster, especially, injuries come up, and you just kind of got to navigate it the best you can. And so, we like Hunter in the future. Obviously, we've invested a lot of time. We've tried to utilize as many resources as we can just to, keep him here. And so, unfortunately, there's some challenges with the roster at times, and so he has had to navigate this moving piece a lot. But he's done a great job with it.
When you guys settle into a routine where there's like a clock start and a clock end time, like Sunday night to Tuesday morning with it, or what is that time that you can have him in the building working with you?
That's really just based off when he's actually on the roster and when he's not, and so yeah. No, I think, we want to keep him here as much as we can. And so, he's been able to practice a little bit with us here and there in some situations, and then some, unfortunately we had a number of injuries that come up and we have to kind of address some positions. O-line became a little bit of a stress point, obviously, with our injuries. And so we had to use the roster spot for that. And so, obviously our goal is to, continue to develop him in any capacity we can.
Do you tell him to stick around in case, or is he going back to Iowa?
No, I think that's just, kind of his personal preference as you kind of go through that. And we'll just see how this thing progresses. Obviously, we've been able to get him into some practices, and we'll just kind of keep finding opportunities for him.
Thanks, Kellen.
Yep.
All right, how we doing? Good, real good.
I know a lot of the outside stuff you're not paying attention to, but before the game last week, Robert Saleh said that you would be a household name by the end of the year. I'm curious just what it means to you to have a highly respected defensive coordinator say something like that about a guy who's about to play against.
Yeah, I mean, that means a lot. You want the respect of your peers, and obviously one of the top guys in our league when it comes to, he was a head coach, obviously a great D coordinator. So to have that respect and, before the game and then after, even more, getting to speak with him after and the players on that side, it's a cool feeling. Makes you want to keep working hard and, keep gaining that respect.
What was that conversation like after the game? Now, I know you can't go into detail about what you talked about. What was it like for you?
Yeah, similar to what he said, and it was a good convo, really good convo, and respect him a lot.
Why do you think you've been so successful at avoiding turnovers so far?
I think just a little more experience. I love how we coach. We're very detailed on I give credit to Scott. He's very detailed all the time, and hey, if it's not there, get it down. Because we got guys like AK and other guys that you dump it down at a yard, he'll get 8. So things like that, I think keeping that in the back of your mind and just trying to reset my focus each and every play. I mean, you're going to have turnovers at some point. It's going to happen. And you don't want to be scared of those, but at the same time, you want to give your team a chance and try to protect the ball.
How hard is that, knowing that, like, you do have the arm and you could take a shot, but maybe checking it down or kind of taking what they give you or is it not hard?
I think it's easier said than done, because I think early in last game I was aggressive coming out, and, I think we hit our first completion over the top to Shaheed, and then you kind of start almost like feeling it a little bit, and I tried to fit one into Olave on the sideline. That was probably a little risky, but after that, Nussmeier did a great job saying, hey, just take what's there, take what they give you, we're going to move the chains, and that's what we did after that, and kind of got settled in after that. But you want to play aggressive, and Kellen says 3-pointers and layups. 3-pointers there, take it. If not, get your layup.
Seattle has 4 interceptions. Their defense does in 2 games. What have you noticed about them that's allowed them to be so good in that area so far?
Yeah, I mean, obviously really good coach, great players on that side of the ball. Their corners are very long, athletic guys, very tall. They make plays on the ball. So we're going to have to, work our matchups and execute our plays well. I know that, we say that over and over, but that's what it comes down to, is executing your plays, every play you can, and, try to, protect the ball, obviously, and move those chains and not let them tee off on 3rd down or get opportunities to make plays on the ball.
You just said 3-pointers and layups. What is the NFL equivalent of a mid-range jump shot?
Mid-range, probably like a slant or like a little 10-yard basic. That's probably a mid-range. You got your layups, your floaters on the outside if they give them to you, and then obviously you guys know the 3-pointers, if they're there. You want to hit those because those can change the game.
Is that a helpful visual, just in that sense, like as you're trying to kind of figure this out?
I mean, I'm not back there thinking, hey, 3-pointers, layups, but it's conscious. It's in my head. Hey, if it's there, take it. If not, just get it down. And I think just reps of that. Tightening it up early in the week, like today, we got so much stuff to tighten up. Myself personally, and all of us. It's early in the week, and we're going to clean all that up and get all that down to a T, and then keep building throughout the week.
Slants are like inefficient in terms of kind of like the way mid-range is, like some guys in the NBA, like Kevin Durant's a great mid-range shooter.
Mid-range, yeah, slant, basic, probably anything 10 yards or less, right? 12 yards or less, I would say. Kind of, I don't know. Yeah.
When I talk about things to clean up, was there one in that game that you wish you could have back? Like when you look at the game tape, is there one play that, like afterwards, you're kicking yourself over?
Oh yeah, I mean the first drive, the throw to Olave on the, post, just a little off. Just put it a little more out there, let him make the play, and that probably changes the game right there. It gives us some good momentum. So if we were walking down the field the first drive, we got to capitalize and finish. So I would say that play right there.
Is that one of those ones where you're kind of throwing to a spot because you're throwing it before he's out of the break, right?
Yep.
So is that like a calibration thing, just that grows over time?
Yes, I mean, repping it throughout the week. Probably got to get more reps on it, and put that on me. Hey, let me get 2-3 extra reps after practice with him. On things we need to be tighter on, and that'll show up in the game. So definitely, anything we got dialed up that wise, we're gonna work it throughout the week and hopefully hit those in the game. But you're not gonna be perfect, but you do want that shot.
On the other side of that, when the one to Juwan, which obviously there wasn't a lot of wiggle room on that one, does hitting one like that give you more confidence once you hit that in taking those kind of chances and trying to hit the little windows?
Yep, it does. I think as a quarterback, once you get in that end zone, get a nice pass going, get a big play going, your team feeds off it, and you bring, you still have energy, but it's just heightened even more. You want to get in there again, and you want to execute at a high level, and you want to get another play like that. So gets the guys going, gets the team going, and obviously you want to hit those a lot.
Do you feel what that one meant to Juwan? Because, the week before, from not quite coming down with it, you could tell, what it meant to him that he wasn't able to get that one. Could you tell what it meant to him?
He's very level-headed. I think if he's not going to beat himself up and he's not going to get too high, too low. That's what I like about him and all our guys. We make a play, hey, let's make another one after that. So I think that was our first touchdown together, and it's always cool to have those moments with your guys, and he made a great play, and obviously that's probably going to boost his confidence as well going throughout the game and further weeks.
That's a big shock.
I think, not being like 6'5", 6'6", a little better vision. And then I think just with this system, with all the RPOs and all the different things we could do, we go, both under center as well. But I think the league is a heavy shotgun league, and obviously you got your teams and systems that do a lot of under as well.
Did it take you a minute to adjust, stylistically, this offense versus last year's offense, but complete kind of opposites? What was it like just kind of learning it for the first time and seeing the differences and finding all that out?
Yeah, very comfortable in the gun. Did it all my college career pretty much, so wasn't a big change at all. But yeah, systems are different, but I think, they help with each other. You learn one, you learn another, you just keep building.
The stadium is very loud, obviously, communication on offense. What have you heard about just playing in the stadium?
Yeah, I obviously know it's one of the loudest stadiums in the league. What an opportunity, what a challenge for us to go in there and try to get our first win of the year. Obviously, it's going to be really loud. We got to be poised in the noise. That's our message this week, and be great with our communication, getting in and out the huddle, and just trying to focus in on our job, even with all the extra stuff going on.
I think Juwan mentioned after the game was that he appreciated, he had the drops early on, but, you're not the type of quarterback that's going to be like, okay, well, I can't throw to him again. You're going to kind of continue. Is that something that you do intentionally, or is that just, hey, this is my guy, I got to keep getting the ball? Where does your mindset in that department?
I will keep throwing at him. It doesn't matter. Those guys are going to make mistakes. They're going to drop the ball. I'm going to miss a pass. We're going to miss a block. It's part of the ball. So you got to keep giving them opportunities when they got the chance. And I think a perfect opportunity was that ball in the end zone where he caught that play. And just like that, that gets us back on track, gets his confidence going, gets all of our confidence going. So we all got belief in one another, and keep working together, keep making plays together.
You had maybe friends or family show you the clip, and I know you may say that's what people would do in any situation, but it may not be. When you went over to the sideline and Eric and them came over and kind of protecting their quarterback, so to say, did that mean something to you? Show that maybe, what I'm doing is resonating with the veteran players and these guys, that they kind of came over and had my back?
Yeah, there's nothing better to feel or see than that. When you're all your big boys up front, really everybody on the offensive side of the ball comes over there and, stands on business a little bit, that means a lot, obviously, to me. And then just our group, we're super close, and, we don't play about each other. So stuff like that will happen. It's good to bring that juice, bring that swagger, that toughness, and, we got a good group.
Last year, having that system with Clint Kubiak, what do you remember about it, and, how unique is it to face off against him Sunday, even though you're not on defense, obviously?
Yeah, obviously, a lot of big personnel, a lot of play action, across the middle of the field, deep crossers, throws, and, he's got a good system. I like Clint a lot, and he's going to give us a challenge. So I know defensively we'll dial it in and, play hard against him.
Is this system, how does it serve in terms of, throwing hot, in terms of unblocked pressures? Last year, it seemed like, sometimes you guys will intentionally have, a free rusher to get to the hot. How does it kind of work with this one? Is it better suited for not allowing that to get it?
I mean, yeah, each system you're going to treat hots differently. Last year, obviously, a lot different than this year. Don't want to go in too much depth about how we handle hots and stuff like that, but got a lot of different options. I think something I've seen this year is the ball's coming out quicker, and it's a clear vision on, hey, where can we go with the ball versus this pressure? Obviously, our sack numbers are a lot down, I think, from last year, so that's a positive. We're headed in the right direction there, and still got a lot of room to improve.
On that third down where you ran for 9 or 10 up the middle, did you kind of know that you're going to have to put a shoulder down to get to the line? And what kind of goes through your head when you break free out of that? Like, did that surprise you at all?
It did surprise me. You think you're going to go down there and we're kicking a field goal, but just that extra effort to get a few more yards. And, I think we scored on that drive. Sometimes you need plays like that to get the game going. And I think we needed a spark. So, just putting it on the line for my guys. And, we just made a play at that time and then finished well. Thank you. Yep.